Hello, stamping friends. This is Angie here with Too Cool Stamping. I'm here with you for another live class. This time, this is a class that I put together. It was like the first week of January, and I haven't been able to show you because every time I go to schedule, there's some part or piece that is not available because it's been sold out. So now I finally can give it to you. It is the Perennial Lavender suite of products. There's still one item that's on back order for a little while, but I'm not using those in the class. So that's the butterfly paper accents. I will show those to you. But all of the other parts, I just checked right now just to make sure, but they're all available. And so we're going to have with the class, and I'm so excited to show it to you. So I just want to put a disclaimer out. It's been a while since I created these projects, so hopefully I won't have too many errors, but I kind of forget how I put them together a little bit. So we'll have to work through that together, but it is a beautiful, beautiful collection. There's 2 different bundles in this collection that work together just effortlessly. One is all images, another is the sentiments that coordinate with it. The images one has a lot of different die cuts with different floral shapes and stems, and then the one with the sentiments has postage shaped labels that nest together as dies and just make for some really great elements for your card. So we have the Perennial Lavender Suite, the Painted Lavender Bundle, that's with the images, and the Perennial Postage bundle, and that's with the sentiments and postage. And you're going to want all of it. If you had to pick one, I really like the postage dies, so you're going to definitely want to add those. I would imagine they're going to carry over into the annual catalog just because they are so timeless and perfect. So I'll show those all to you. And then the creme de la creme on top of all of it is the Perennial Lavender paper. The designer series paper is absolutely gorgeous. I love it in particular just because it has a lot of my favorite Too Cool colors in it. So Gorgeous Grape and Lost Lagoon and Pretty Peacock and Shaded Spruce and some crumb cake mixed in there, Fresh Freesia, Berry Burst, all of my favorite Too Cool colors that go with my logo. So I particularly love it because of that. So anyway, I cannot wait to show it to you. And there's some really awesome sparkle gems as well. So I'll show you all of that when we flip the camera. Really quick, I just wanted to mention that I will have a 5-card class that you can earn with this class. You'll just need to place a $45 order and use the host code that I show you when I turn the camera around. And that will be available to earn. It's available to earn right now, actually. I've had it out there for about a week. But you can earn that until March 25th. And then all of those will, those kits will go out later that same week. And then just a note, we're actually coming to the end of both the mini catalog and annual catalog. So just some dates to keep in mind. March 18th, that's just next week. There's going to be the release of the last chance retiring list. So you're going to see what items are going to be leaving for good and will only be available until the end of April. So again, both the mini catalog and annual catalog, those will be leaving on April 30th. We're going to get a brand new annual catalog on May 1st. But some of those items are going to carry over, but we won't know until the 18th of March. So check for that. And that will be the time you'll want to make sure that you get all of the, like the papers for sure. They sell out really quickly. Also the in colors that are going for this year. So what do we have? Sweet Sorbet, Tahitian Tide, Parakeet Party, Orchid Oasis, Starry Sky. All of those beautiful colors are going to be leaving us. So if you want any of those, I would get them right now before they start selling out, because once the retired list goes out, we know that those are leaving, but that's kind of the trigger point where everyone knows that they need to get what they want. So here's your warning. I hope you get what you want for those, and you can order whatever you want to earn this kit tonight. Okay, I think we're going to go ahead and flip the camera around and start this beautiful class. I hope you really love it. I really enjoy putting it together. All right, hold on. All right, let me show you the class code. So again, if you have a $45 order using the host code X3TS FGTG. You'll have until March 25th. That's about 2 weeks from today. And then I can get a kit out to you just right after that. I think the Friday after that is my schedule of when I'm going to be sending that out. Okay, let's look at the products in this collection. They are just absolutely phenomenal. So first of all, we have the Painted Lavender bundle. Beautiful floral stems and twigs that come together in a nice bouquet, and lots of fun to mix and match the stems, add some butterflies, some little, wildflower looks. So that's great. Then we have the dies that go with it. You'll have the dies that outline the images in the stamp set. Plus you have some additional intricate dies that you can use and will be using on several of the cards, just to give some other layers and depth to your floral bouquets. So I love that. That's the Painted Lavender bundle. Next in the suite, we have Perennial Postage, and this coordinates with it so well. It has all of the beautiful sentiments, lots of sentiments, and really covers a lot of occasions, including Mother's Day coming up. So that's perfect, but really, really awesome. And then this is my favorite as far as the dies. All of these beautiful postage stamp shapes in nested sizes. So you have some squares, you have rectangles of all sizes, a little label here shape. You have like a postage stamp on there. This is a little grommet that you can put on a tag, and this is a little cutout that you can make a little tag for that too. So much fun. This, if you get nothing else, this is probably going to be staying because it's just a really must-have in your die collection. All right, so that is the Perennial Postage bundle, a separate bundle in that same Perennial Lavender set. Then we have this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful paper. Did I say beautiful enough? So a lot of the imagery is the same as far as there's a very similar look, but it all coordinates together. It would be beautiful for scrapbook pages, but I enjoyed cutting them apart for our cards. So you can see the papers are just really, really pretty. Here's some background coordinating paper, crumb cake, and all the beautiful purples, and love this little tiny floral pattern. This is just a nice mottled floral look in a gorgeous grape. I like this. This is kind of darker, the darker purples on this one, and the background, another beautiful pattern. Ooh, I love this one. This really brings all of it together in kind of a wildflower field, and then just leaves on the back. I love this one. Again, beautiful for scrapbooking, or you could just cut parts and pieces of it for a full background of your card. I love how it has little butterflies in it. Really pretty. And then of course I love the gingham or the plaid. And then the last one, this, you get a full 12 by 12, but I didn't have any full ones ready to go. But this is another one of those wildflower look on the front, and then kind of it's kind of a shaded spruce, not quite pretty peacock. It's more of a shaded spruce color on the back there. So that is all of the beautiful papers of the Perennial Lavender collection. You'll get, they're 12 by 12 sheets. You get 2 each of 6 double-sided patterns. Then the collection is finished out by, gotta have them, the purple fine, what's it called? Purple Fine Shimmer Gems. And you'll have it in Highland Heather, Gorgeous Grape, and Berry Burst in 2 different sizes. They are so, so beautiful. And these were on back order until this week. So I was waiting. I was going to do this class last week, and I'm like, oh, if I could just wait one more week, then you'll have the ability to get those sparkle gems. Can you see that sparkle? I don't know if it's showing up, but they're really, really nice. And then the one thing that we are not using in this class, but they are super cool, and they are on, well, they're not called back order, but they're not available until they come back into stock. But these are the butterfly paper accents. So you get, I think, 8 sheets of these intricate die cut, they're laser cut butterflies that you can just pop out. They're white on both sides, so you can, use your blender brushes, or you can color them with blends markers, or just leave them white as a beautiful accent against a darker background. They are just absolutely lovely. I did not choose to use them for a class just simply because there's so many different varieties. I'd have to buy a lot of packs in order to complete the class, but this is a really great addition to your order and will go with your Perennial Lavender Suite just beautifully. So try that out. Oh, but they're not available. Let me see. April 8th is when they are available. So for an upcoming class, then maybe we can add that to your order. Okay, let's get started with the very first card. So the first card is going to start with a Lost Lagoon, traditional size 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. And we'll just use our bone folder, give it a nice crease. It's going to be a vertical card. I've already die cut a large Perennial Postage Gorgeous Grape layer for the background. And then I'm going to add a 2 by 5, I think. No, 2 by 4 3/4 inch piece of the Perennial Lavender to that. And this is going to go right up in this left-hand side. And then we'll add that directly to our card front. If you hear any sound, my daughter is upstairs running, and it sounds like a herd of turtles, my mom would say. All right, I have another piece here of crumb cake this time, and it's also cut out with another shape from the Perennial Postage. And we'll put that on. This is going to be our focal point background. So we'll just put this right about there. Then we're going to do a little bit of stamping. And I'm going to go ahead and get my piercing mat out just to give it a little extra firm cushion. And I just have a scrap here of white. And I'm going to use Gorgeous Grape to make a little bunch of flowers. And then we need some stems to go with that. So we'll get some pretty peacock. And stamp that on another scrap piece. And actually, I might have used Lost Lagoon there. That seems a little bit dark, but that's okay. Both of them look just perfect. I stamped some ahead of time and used the painted lavender dies to cut those out. And then we'll just pop those up onto our card front. My dogs are barking, my baby's crying, she's running all over the place. I don't know if you can hear any of that, but there's excitement happening upstairs right above my head. All right, so first we're going to put this right up here. And we're going to add this little stem. Let's see if I have let's get some mini dimensionals out for this one. If you don't have mini dimensionals, you can always use the edge here and just cut a little piece off. But the mini dimensionals are just lovely. They work very nicely. And we'll tuck those underneath our flowers. And so they'll be kind of dropping down, and I put them right over kind of the edge of that designer series paper. All right, we're going to add a couple more things. I have 2 more little die cuts from the painted lavender dies. One is in Highland Heather and one in Fresh Freesia. And you're going to need to get your liquid multi-purpose glue out for a lot of these dies because they are very intricate. And I just use a little tiny dab here and there. You don't need much. Put one on there. I'm gonna just hold it for a second while I add some more over here. Whoop, that's not gonna work. It's not gonna let me do it with one hand. All right, I'm gonna flip that over so I don't have sticky. And I'll put another one. This is the Fresh Freesia. Just give it a little texture, a little pop of color there. We're gonna finish up with a little sentiment that I've already stamped on. This is just, let me give you the measurements here. 3 by 3/8 inch, and it's in Berry Burst. It's from the Perennial Postage. And I'm gonna pop that up as well with some mini dimensionals. And maybe put just a dab of seal in the middle, because it's gonna go right over our bouquet. So kind of right where the end of those happen, I'm going to add this sentiment, and then I've already tied a little double bow in linen thread, and your kit will have that included. I'll already have it tied, so you don't need to worry about tying it. I know so many of you say, I don't know how to do a little bow like that. It's okay. I'll have it all tied for you. All you need to do is get a little glue dot, stick it right on the glue dot, kind of pinch the glue dot underneath it, and then you're going to add that. And I did a little better job. Let me show you my other, oh, let me finish up with, I need some sparkle gems. So I'll add those in Berry Burst. Add a large one and a little small one there, and another little one over here. And there is our first card. Let me show you my other one. I like how it turned out a little better. I have the spacing a little bit better on this one. But I just absolutely love those sparkle gems on there. They really make it pop. So there's our first card. I'm having a glue explosion. Does this ever happen to anybody? I need to go like get a Kleenex, a tissue. I don't know why it's doing that. I've never really had that happen before. Okay, must have got some air in it for some reason. Okay, let's go on to our next card. I do not have two cool versions this time. I felt like we didn't really need them because they were just for a lot of similar looks. So we didn't really need a too cool version. They were all kind of in the same color ballpark. So this is our second card. For some reason I just showed you instead of doing it. All right. So this is a traditional 5.5 by 8.5 Berry Burst, and it's scored at 4 1/4. I don't usually show you right off the bat, and I didn't mean to, but I got a little, I'm just like watching my glue explode, and it made me a little crazy. Okay, I have a piece here of Gorgeous Grape. It's 3 5/8, kind of an odd size, but you'll see why, and 4 7/8. And then I'm going to add this wildflower piece of Perennial Lavender. This is 3.5 by 2 3/4. We're going to add that to the top of this piece and just have little tiny 1/16 of an inch showing around the border. At the bottom, we have a piece here that is 3.5 by 2 in the Gorgeous Grape pattern. And we'll leave a little tiny border around that bottom part. And then we're going to tie some . Sorry. I just I just pushed all of my stuff on the floor. It's just going to be one of those days, I think. So I have some Lost Lagoon bordered ribbon, texture ribbon. I can't remember what it's called, but it's really pretty. And we'll tie that in a double knot. Trim that. And I'm going to put it on this side like so, and then we're going to just add this to our card front. I love these colors. I just love them. Okay, next, I've already die cut a piece of basic white in that Perennial Postage, and then we're going to do a little bit of stamping. So again, I'm going to bring my piercing mat, and this is going to go right here kind of as our foundation. In fact, I'll just go ahead and put that, pop that up. We're going to pop it up. I don't want to have any dimensionals right here where that ribbon is, so I'm just going to kind of flip it over so I can position it and know exactly where I should put it. But I am going to pop up that layer, and it's going to be another foundation for the focal point. Okay, now let's do some stamping. So this time I'm going to use this kind of it's a floral, kind of a bunch of floral there. We're going to stamp it first in Fresh Freesia. We're going to ink it up there. And then I kind of want a two-tone look. So I got my sponge dauber out. And I'm going to take a little bit of Berry Burst and just add a little bit to the edges here and there. A little pop of pink. And then if you need to, a little huff on top of that. And there is our, that didn't come out as well as I would have liked. I think I might have had some ink on it already. And I didn't bring my chamois over here. So that's okay, because I already have it die cut and it's perfect on my die cut. We're going to do a second one in Gorgeous Grape. And then we also are going to do a couple of stems in Pretty Peacock. You could do the stem in Lost Lagoon. You could also do it in Shaded Spruce. So 2 of those, 1 for each of the floral pieces there. Now, as I mentioned, I already have these cut out. So I used my Painted Lavender dies to cut these out. And this one turned out a little bit better. You can see a little bit more of the Fresh Freesia. Maybe my ink pad's getting dry. That could be. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little dab of seal on the back. And then I'm going to just put that right over the top. Make a little stem. And all right, so now I have these 2. These are going to be, we'll just kind of put them, position them on here the way we want them, just so we can see. So I'll go like this, and then I also have another little die cut again. This time it's in Lost Lagoon, and this is again from the Painted Lavender die set. So I'm going to put that right in the center, and I'll put that down first. So again, we'll get that crazy glue out. We'll see if it's still, it's like a little volcano erupting. I don't know why, but we'll see if it does it again. So a little zhuzh here, and will go right down, right up the middle. And then if you want to use glue, you can. I'm just going to use seal just to make it fast and easy. The glue probably would work a little bit, you'd have a little more control over it. And you don't really need much on the stem. The stems just kind of hang there. All right, there you go. So there is that part. Now let's finish up with a sentiment. I've already die cut and stamped the sentiment. This is in crumb cake, and it's another one of those Perennial Postage die cuts. And I just stamped it in Gorgeous Grape. I'm going to pop that up with a couple of dimensionals. Put that right down here in the bottom. And then finish up with a couple of I put one of each color of the pearl or the purple fine shimmer gems. And this one you'll notice I actually did embossing with, I stamped in Versamark and then embossed with white embossing powder. Just to let you know, if you've been looking for the embossing powders, they are not available, and they will not be available until the new catalog comes out. They actually were changing the manufacturers of those particular powders, and they sold out of the ones that they have currently, so they're waiting for the new catalog to have the new ones available. So on May 1st, we'll have new ones. So I wanted to show you just what it would look like with it looks really nice in the Gorgeous Grape as well. So, but that's what it looks like with the gems on there, one of each color. So that's our second card. All right, our next card starts with Basic White Thick. Make sure that if you're using Basic White for a card base, you'll get that thick cardstock that holds up a little bit better. It's a little bit sturdier. Then we have a piece here of Highland Heather, and this measures 4 by 5 and 4 by 5 and a quarter. No, 4 by 5 and an eighth. That's not right, is it? Oh, 3 7/8 by 5 and an eighth. And then, as I mentioned, I designed this back in January, thinking I was going to do it as my first class from the mini catalog. And so I used the softly stippled embossing folder, which was from Celebration. And that is no longer available, but you will get it in your kit. I love this background. I thought it looked really nice with this particular card. And so you will get this, although you cannot earn it. It's already retired from Celebration. So we'll add that. And this is Basic White, and this is a 3 3/4 by 5 inch piece. Okay, we're going to add that directly to our card base. And I'm also going to add a 2 inch by 5 inch piece of Designer Series paper, the Perennial Lavender. And this is the one that kind of has wild flowers, but it has some flowers that have white stems on them, or white blooms on them. And that's, if you can hear my dog barking, that's Jax. That's his favorite hobby. Okay, next up, we have several different die cuts from the Perennial Postage dies. So 2 of the small squares in Gorgeous Grape, and then another one in Fresh Freesia. We're going to make a little collage. So I'm going to do it kind of like, I'm thinking like this, right down here in the corner. And this is going to be our foundation for our focal point, or at least our sentiment. So to line these up the best, I think it might be good just to put those together like a little puzzle piece. And then this will fit right over the top, like so. Before we do that though, let's stamp a sentiment. And we're going to use I can't thank you enough. We'll stamp that. This is the Fresh Freesia. We're stamping in Gorgeous Grape. And we'll pop that up over the top. And before we do that, I just want to look here. I think what I did, like I said, I did this a while back and I'm not sure. I'm going to get this ready to go and then we'll put our floral pieces down. So this is going to go here eventually. And first, we're going to have a few die cuts. So these two die cuts are in white. And let me show you. This is actually just one die cut. So you only have to run it through one time. It has both of those two different stems. So that's nice. Then I also have this other one in Lost Lagoon. And I'll add that to my card front. Again, just dabbing on a little bit of the multi-purpose glue, not a lot. And I'm going to add that right up the, kind of right on that edge again, like I did with the other one, just to kind of cover that edge up. We'll add these two other pieces with a little bit of glue. We're going to have everything kind of come to a point right here. So I'll do this, go in here, and then the larger, taller one. We'll go right here. I'm going to hold that down just for a second. It just takes a second or two to grab with that glue. And then we'll pop up that sentiment right over the top. So you can see how those just kind of go right down in between. And then we'll put this right over the top. And this time we're going to add some Highland Heather gems. So that's the lighter ones up at the top. And there you go. So that is our third card. Super simple and very elegant looking. All right, I had another, and not much stamping. That was just the sentiment. So there's so many ways that you can mix and match the stems between stamping and die cutting and the paper. All right, this one is going to start with Gorgeous Grape, and this is a short piece here. So this is 5 3/4 by 5 1/2, and it's scored at 1 1/2. So just a short little front. Then I have a piece of Highland Heather. This is let me get it accurate here. This is the same as our other piece. So this is 3 7/8 by 5 1/4. And that is going to go right on here. So we only want it to be adhered to that front part. So in order to do that, and no, we're not going to have any additional adhesive, getting the card stuck together, we're just going to do a 180 flip there. So now we know that we only put adhesive on that side. And then we'll line it up, center it, and that will be our card. So a little fun shortened flap on the front. We're going to decorate that with some pieces of painted lavender, Perennial Lavender paper. So we'll start with this one. This is a 2 1/4 by 4 inch piece. And this will go right up here at the corner. And we have kind of 1/8 of an inch there. This one is a 1 1/4 by 4. Just with those leaves. And then the bottom one is going to be 3 5/8 by 3/4. And that just finishes it off down at the bottom. Okay, for this one, we're kind of, it was kind of my too cool version with the other one. Doesn't look anything like it at this point, but I was playing around with more of these little die cuts. And so I have the same die cuts that I had for the previous card, only this time they're only in crumb cake. I'm gonna do a different layering. I'm going to start just with a piece of Gorgeous Grape. This one is 2 3/8 inch square. And we'll put this down at the bottom here. Again, kind of our focal point base. Next, I'm going to just add this one die cut with a few dabs from that glue again. Don't need a lot. And I'm gonna have this sticking way over here to the side. We're gonna add another layer, this time in Lost Lagoon, and this one is a 2 by 2 inch square. And I'm just gonna put seal and put it right over the top of this square. All right, next we're gonna add a couple more of these die cuts, and I do have a few pieces here that didn't pop out, so I'm just gonna use my, you can use your take-a-pick tool, or if you have a piercing tool, and pop those out. Even a toothpick or something like that will work as well. And this one is going to go over here. We'll hold that for a second. And then one more. All right, and then the last thing we're going to do is add a sentiment. So there's our kind of our focal point background. The sentiment will be our focal point. I have another die cut here from Perennial Postage. This is in basic white. We're going to stamp sending love and best wishes, and we'll do that in Gorgeous Grape. That seems to be the color of choice for our sentiments. And I'm just gonna, some of these are kind of crooked when they go on and you can't see through them when they're the cling mount. So I like to just stamp on a piece of scrap paper and see whether it's gonna look like it's lining up. And that one actually looks pretty good. Sometimes they're tilted a little bit, so I just like to see if I need to tilt it a little bit better. So I'm just gonna line this up centered top to bottom. Looks pretty good. We'll pop that up with dimensionals. I know it sounds like my daughter is being tortured up there. I don't know if you can hear that, but she really is just screaming with excitement. She's a very loud child sometimes, so. All right. Maybe she's not. Maybe she's crying now. She was excited. All right. Now we have just a couple more little pieces to dress it up. I'm going to use some of those cute butterflies. The butterflies are in both, whoops, let me try again. I don't think I have the right thing. I have Fresh Freesia. I needed Berry Burst. That's why it doesn't look right. Berry Burst. There we go. So you can see you have a full butterfly as well as a profile butterfly, and there's die cut that goes with both of those. So I've already die cut both of those out. I'm only going to use this one, but if you wanted to use the other one, you could do that as well. And I'm just going to use my glue dots for that. You could use your liquid glue if you wanted to. And I'll add that right here. Super cute. And then let's add a few of our sparkle gems, this time in Gorgeous Grape. And we'll do a couple like this, one up here. If you wanted to do it in the middle of your butterfly, you could. That would be kind of cute. So there is our, and then let me show you on my, the one that I did earlier, you'll have a piece of white. And what you can do if you are gonna center it, if you want to center it here, put adhesive on it, center it here, and then close it. That's one way that you can get that so that you know that it's nice and neat behind that front layer. And don't forget to add some stamping to it too before you put your inside together. I didn't take the time to do that, but it always looks so much better with inside stamping. All right, we have our final card. And this one starts with crumb cake. Traditional card base, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. And I'm going to do it horizontal. I have a piece of 5.5 by 1.5 inch of the painted, or perennial, sorry, I'm getting them confused, Perennial Lavender paper. We'll put that at the bottom. And then I have a piece of fresh freesia. This one is 3 1/8 by 4 1/8. And I'm gonna add a 3 by 4 inch piece of another pattern from the Perennial Lavender paper. This one just is going to have a tiny border, a little 1/16 of an inch border. And then before we put that on, we're going to add some of this natural wavy trim around it. I'm just going to tie it in a double knot. Gives it a lot of texture. And it goes so nicely with the crumb cake. So just a double knot and trim there. And I think I'll make this on this side. All right. And then I'm going to pop this up with some dimensionals. So I'm going to sneak my little dimensionals back behind this ribbon. I restrain myself. Those of you who know me, I know I love dimensionals, and I like to make sure none of the card dips. So I usually would use like 4 more dimensionals on there than I did, but I had to restrain myself. All right, so here's the background. And then we're gonna do a little focal point layer. I started with a piece of basic white that I cut with the Deckled Circles dies. So it has a nice, a fun little deckly shape to it. I'm gonna start with my sentiment. Again, Gorgeous Grape. Actually, let me not start with that. I'm gonna back up. Let's do the background. So this, I'm gonna find a piece of scrap paper here. So I'm gonna do some stamping off, and I'm gonna do it in a couple of different flavors here. I have these 2 floral images. I'm gonna start with the widest one, and that will be in Fresh Freesia. So fresh freesia, we're going to stamp off, and then we're going to stamp onto the paper. So just a really light look there. Then I'm going to do that again, only this time I'm going to do it in Highland Heather. So that same image, stamped it off, and then I'm going to go over here. So it's just a little bit of a different tone, but still that same purpley color. All right, next I'm going to use the skinnier floral with my crumb cake. And again, stamping off, I'm going to add some other little twigs. So we're going for just a really soft pattern, soft wildflower look. I love that, really pretty. Coordinates so nicely with that paper. And then we'll finish up with our sentiment. And this time we're doing You Mean the World to Me. So we'll put that over the top. That's in Gorgeous Grape. And I've already, if I can find it, oh, did I lose him? Here he is. I've already stamped and die cut a little Highland Heather butterfly. So I'll stick him on with a glue dot right here. And we're just going to add this with seal. You could pop it up, but I don't like to pop up more than one layer. Usually the post office gets a little aggravated if it gets too much. But I'm just going to tuck that right in on the side here. And then we'll add a few more of the purple gems. This time they're going to be Gorgeous Grape. And we'll do a couple over here. And one on that butterfly, just to see what that looks like. That looks kind of fun. So there is the last card, just really soft and subtle. And I actually did a second version, same colors, just a different orientation there. So really, really pretty. All right, let's get all the cards back out so you can see what you will get in your 5-card kit. Oh, wait, before I do that, I did have one more. I didn't put this in the class, so this is not part of the class kit at all, but I wanted to do one with no die cutting, just stamping. So I put this one together. This is kind of my extra little bonus I wanted to show you. I used that beautiful leafy image and the background. This is Pool Party. I stamped in Pool Party, and then I did that same leafy image Pool Party for the background. Kind of the same look of, you know, the wildflowers coming out. This is Fresh Freesia, Highland Heather. This is Fresh Freesia going across here, stamped in Highland Heather. I have Lost Lagoon for the background, and then another one of those postage dies for that. And then the Pool Party ribbon, so beautiful. Iridescent pearls to top it off. I loved how that looked. This, again, will not be in your kit, just a bonus idea for you. Okay, let's get our cards out, and we'll see all of the different ones that are in the kit. So you're going to get all the parts and pieces for 5 cards, and that includes all of the die cut pieces. Anything that is stamped and then die cut, you'll just receive scrap paper for that. I don't do die cutting for that, but all of the other intricate dies for the floral stems, those will be there for you. The embossed pieces, all of the postage stamped shapes will all be there, as well as your embellishments. So everything will be included. To get your free class kit, just place a $45 order with me. You can go to toocoolstamping.com and shop on the Shop Now link. Be sure to use that host code. That's very important. It's X3TSFGTG, and that will be at the top of the checkout page is where you can apply that. So again, that will be available until March 25th, and then I will get the tutorial and kit out later that week. So I hope you've really enjoyed this class. I had so much fun putting it together. It's been just agonizing that I've had to wait for so long to get it to you because of so many times that the stamp set was on back order, the dies were not available, the gems were not available. The paper might have been out for a while. I'm not sure. But anyway, they're all here now except for the butterfly accents, but we didn't use those here. So just save that for a future order and get everything you need for this class. All right, everyone. Thank you so very much for joining me. I hope that you've enjoyed it. And I will see you again soon at our next Too Cool Stamping live class. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.